Holy Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 18. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Jesus said to the disciples, "If your brother or sister should commit some wrong against you, go and point out the error, but keep it between the two of you. If she or he listens to you, you have won a loved one back. If not, try again, but take one or two others with you, so that every case may stand on the word of 2 or 3 witnesses. If your sister or brother refuses to listen to them, refer the matter to the church. If she or he ignores even the church, then treat the sister or brother as you would a Gentile or a tax collector. The truth is, whatever you declare bound on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you declare loosed on earth will be loosed in heaven. Again, I tell you, if 2 of you on earth join in agreement to pray for anything whatsoever, it will be granted you by my Abba God in heaven. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there in their midst." Beloved, this is the good news of salvation. Praise to you, Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
The beginning hymn was perfect in so many ways for what we've heard today. Today I am led to talk to you about calling in, calling home. Ezekiel 39's strong words are just calling out the prophet, right? We aren't that sentry, are we? The one who's responsible if we don't warn the wicked? Are we? It's sure a good thing that whether they harden their hearts is on them, not us. But Psalm 95 warns us directly about hardening our hearts. Concrete examples of testing and arguing with God. It advises us to serve God. Yes, it says to bow down, to show awe and reverence however we best express it, and to know that God is our shepherd and we God's flock. Try not to be the sheep that runs off at dusk, making God run after you as you go charging out into the night instead of going somewhere safe. Romans 13 reminds us we owe a debt of love to each other. It tells us the whole list of rules is boiled down to love. Love does not wrong the beloved. That's it right there. And then Matthew 18 sets out Christian conflict resolution. You go to the person quietly, you don't make a big public deal, and you talk it out, you reach out. You try to rebuild relationship, because you might get your sibling back. If that gets nowhere, a couple more people go talk and listen. Try to find peace. Because one person can get wound up more easily, and more easily have a more distorted understanding of what happened. Another perspective or two, or better, mediation, might be easier to hear or receive or understand. If even that fails, you go to the community. I think partly that's because troubles get there in rumor anyway. And it's best to address things more honestly and directly because rumors harm the community. But I also think of interventions. Of people gathering together and saying, "We're concerned about you. You are worth our time, effort, and caring. We want to repair this." If that person refuses community, steps apart from the community, maybe even into a place that harms the community, then the community finds themselves revoking that trust and openness, stepping back from that offer of being community. But even that just means that they become an outsider, the Gentile. Or maybe they're the one not to be trusted for their motives, that agent of that imperial government, that tax collector. But we still feed and reach out to the Gentile and the tax collector. These days, many of us are hearing about call-out culture. Call-out culture is loudly and publicly showing how offended, woke, or allied you think you are by publicly declaring whose misdeeds you approve of. You disapprove of. Whose misdeeds you disapprove of. On one level, we all do this. In the last day, I've posted several things that are call-outs. But I try, keyword, really hard to call out behaviors, facts, not to call out specific people and situations, but trends and policies, bigger groups, trying to speak against the wrongdoing. I try very hard not to make things worse, not to call out something I don't know for sure, don't know the right of, don't know the rights of, not to call out something the group in question doesn't actually think is a problem. Back to call-out culture as a whole. We teachers know this as name and shame. Did you ever get your name put up on a board? Or worse, you're the one that was sent up there to write your name or pull that card or popsicle stick or whatever, just to rub your nose in the wrongdoing. It creates defensiveness, not dialogue. When people are sitting there thinking or knowing that it's them you called out, relationship is harmed or removed. Growth very seldom comes from that, right? Right. Calling in is something very different. Call in relies on relationship, even if it has to build relationship to use it. I teach about legal and ethical issues in emergency medicine. And we talk about misfeasance versus malfeasance. One's a misdeed, a mistake, an error, a miss. The other, that's doing deliberate harm. We can't know another's heart, right? We can't assume it's malfeasance when maybe it's misfeasance. Missing the background, the context, the history, missing the target, missing the point. There's a lot we prefer not to look at, that we prefer not to miss, we prefer to miss. Isn't there? Most of the time we mislead ourselves. Most people don't deliberately do what they know and admit is wrong, even to themselves. Mostly we're misguided, and we're the ones doing the misguiding. Are any of us truly free of this self-misleading? I'm not. I watch for it all the time, and after decades, I still find plenty in me to fix. Our conversion of life is lifelong. And remember Romans? We owe a debt to each other to love each other through it. Call in is, come, let us reason together. Hey, can we talk? I want to understand. Pat, when you said that, what did you mean? My little sister used to do that one better. Jeanette would think and think and think until she came up with some positive way that person could have meant what they said or did. And then she'd go to them and ask them if that's what they really meant. It was incredibly effective. It allowed them to save face. It didn't really matter, in the end, to the community whether she'd read their good intent correctly or just given them a way out. She rocked call-ins. Call in is what we're asked to do. I'd argue it's what we're required to do. Listen again. If your sibling commits some wrong against you, go to them and tell them. Don't shut about it in the town square or online. Go to them. If needed, grab one or two that might help you reach them, and again, go to them. If even that doesn't work, grab the community and show them people so invested in them and relationship with them that they're willing to do something risky and talk about uncomfortable truths. Invite them in. This is call-in culture, and this is Jesus culture. Come, let us reason together. The sign language word for we, for us, is this gathering in together. My question for you: what ways can you reach and find or form relationship with those you disagree with?